Alright, so hello everyone and welcome to Mortyr 2093 to 1944, or just Mortyr for the sake of simplicity. This game was made in 1999 by Polish Mirage Interactive, and it was kind of supposed to be like a successor to Wolfenstein 3D, which it kind of did, but it has some weird stuff, so buckle up for this game because it's definitely gonna be a ride. The game's pacing is gonna be a bit interesting, so I'm gonna explain the story later and explain the threats in the beginning because most of the threats are in the beginning. So without further ado, let's just get started. So gonna begin in 3, 2, 1, go. So basically, the whole Mortyr series is an FPS. Except one game, which I'm gonna get into later because it's a fun one, I'm telling you. But as I said, gonna do some interesting glitches right here at the end of this tunnel. We're gonna crouch into here and just clip up the floor, because why not? We can just do that. So the whole game is about grabbing keys, basically, and traversing through levels for those, and that's the whole like part of the game. Like that's the whole thing you do during the game. On the second level, we are gonna do something that I like to call key juggling, because we're gonna skip using up a key with a tricky out of bounds right in this room. After we grab the key from this guy, he just likes to. Okay. So we set up an out of bounds with this table. We just push it here and we stand on it, and if you do it correctly, if you jump into this corner correctly, you can just go out of bounds like this, and if you jump like this, you skip the key door. So now I have a key that I shouldn't really have, and we're gonna abuse that for a few levels now. Basically, this key is required on most of the levels coming up, except this one, but we will wait for a specific level because it's worth the most on a later level, not like the first occasion of the golden key. So yeah, basically this game is about World War II and time traveling. Time traveling is an interesting part of this game because it's just not really documented well, and it just like stuff just happens really weird in this game, I'm telling you. So yeah, we still have the key that we are not supposed to have, and that was Mortyr's voice, which we will hear a couple times during the run, but not that much because they didn't give that many voice lines. But the ones they did, there are some interesting ones. So I used up the key, the one that I juggled, but we are gonna go for the other key that was intended here because this is not that far away. Because there is a level where if you have the golden key right at the beginning, you can skip the whole level, which is like 3 minutes at least. Like even with you know, running through all of it. So we are still just juggling that, holding on to it. As you can see, if I crouch, hitboxes get weird, like you can just go through stuff partially for some reason. So yeah, that's a bit interesting. Coming up is another one where I use up the key immediately at start, but it's still faster to go for the key. Like this. Oh. So most of the times you are not actually really shooting people in this game. Like, you are getting shot more than you are shooting people. So this is the level I was talking about. Instead of traversing through a long hall with like stairs and everything, you just do that. So I'm gonna talk about the story now a bit, because we are picking up a quantum receptor piece right now, That was the receptor piece. So basically, the story is a bit weird because Sebastian Mortyr's son Jürgen gets sent back from 2093 to 1944 to stop another time traveler from helping Nazi Germany win World War II. So basically, they scattered the receptor pieces for their time machine around, so that nobody can use their time machine. But now we are just collecting them back together, so that we can essentially destroy the time machine that way. So yeah, that is what we are doing right now. And coming up is a funny voice line from Mortyr, if we hear it.
That's a big statue.
Yeah, so Mortyr's voice lines are just like really weird. And coming up is another figure that is crucial in the historical part of the game, but we have no idea why he's here. You will see in a moment. So yeah, just there's Hitler just standing here, and if you kill him, instead of dying, he just stands up and continues. So we'll just leave him here. We can't do anything about him. I don't know what happened there, but like this is just like this. I told you that this game is weird, and we are coming up to a really nice part of the game where the game just starts crashing randomly. So buckle up for that as well. This maybe shouldn't crash, but I mean, from this game you can't expect anything to be working properly. Like it's almost a miracle in itself that the game runs on modern machines. By the way, these health and armor sounds are custom from a YouTuber who popularized this game in my country. So, gonna talk a bit about why the game is bad. As you saw, that enemy wasn't following me. Like, this is just like backspawning, and the game is like notorious for backspawning and being dark, which you can't really see because with DG Voodoo and modern OSs you can fix it up, but yeah, this game usually is really dark, and you just don't see much of the game. You have a flashlight in the game, but it has a timer to it. Like, they just did it so stupidly. Okay, so we are coming up to the section now, really, that can just crash. Like, if I fall here, I could have just crashed that time. But fortunately it saved us now. But yeah, this section of the game is quite crash heavy. And so basically we are still just... What is this game even about? So this game is about destroying a time machine that Nazi Germany had in 1944 by another time traveler. So we just came back from the future to stop the other time traveler from helping them win the war. And so basically we are collecting up receptor pieces that like put together the time machine's core, like, and basically we are gonna destroy it. And when we go back, they are not gonna be happy about what we did, so we are just gonna be chased around endlessly, basically, until we finish it for all, once and for all. So yeah, the whole Mortyr series is kind of weird because this was the first game in the series, and then it had a second installment under Mirage Interactive. And then Mirage sold the IP to City Interactive, which the keen-eyed upon you might know for making bad games. And they did two reasonable quality Mortyr games. Well, Mortyr games, but they aren't really Mortyr games internationally because it's a whole another can of worms that they just didn't call the games Mortyr anymore in some regions. And funnily enough, there's a Game Boy game called Hands of Time, which is a 2D shooter RPG, which has just no rise to existing under the Mortyr name, frankly. Okay, another crash spot, because why not? There is a weird strat in here that I'm gonna try once. So basically there are these lamps. Yeah, okay, I got it first try. So you can just like cling onto those lamps and kind of fall without any fall damage, but it's like really tough. And I do it first try because the game is just trying to disprove me, I guess. But I'm telling you that that's hard. Water physics are also weird in the game, because if you swim on the surface of the water, you go faster for some reason, but which you will see just now. Like, I just become faster for some reason. About the randomness of the game, we are in a V2 factory right now, and we will not destroy any rockets like any other World War II shooter did when you visited a V2 factory. We just, again, run through everything. It's I don't know, this whole game's like storyline is really weird, because also the story is carried out through these like small texts, like small letters from people in the universe, and yeah, that's how you catch up on the story. Physics, but in very loose terms. Well, yeah, like the whole engine is a bit weird, because it's like this was Calaris's C1 engine that the game is based on, which was used for Wolfschanze as well later on. And yeah, it has some weird stuff to it, like jumping, not feeling that right, apart from other things, really. But we are coming up to a really good section of the game where we are gonna fight a tank. But we are not gonna fight it the usual way, because that would be boring. So instead, if the game doesn't wanna crash, and it doesn't crash, what? Okay. So instead of shooting the tank, we are gonna knife it, and also kick it. Because we can, really. We just can. Oh wait, I can also push the tank around for a bit, but... yeah, you can do a lot of weird things in this game. It's... the tank is getting damaged, you will see in a moment. You can actually kill the tank like this. And it's like... destroyed animation is just hilarious. That's how the tank gets destroyed. Okay. There were some rockets in here, but that's the boring way of killing tanks, really. So we are coming up to the time traveling section now. Basically, this is the level where we do the time traveling. Right, okay, so that was our good friend Günther, who likes to throw grenades below your feet and eat half your HP for it. But yeah, the food is also useful for I guess the tank, really. Like, it's not as powerful as like in other like 3D games from this era where you could just kill anything with a single kick. Like, it's not that powerful, but it's usable. I also like this voice line. More Jürgen just compares the time machine to a refrigerator, which is Just odd. So this is the time traveling. Just going into this black box, and that was the whole time traveling. And now we don't have any weapons. But we will not need it because the whole future section, except the last level, can be done without a weapon, using a weapon. So I'm gonna do that because that's the fastest. But basically now we apparently destroyed the time machine and they are angry about that. So we are just escaping now mostly and preparing to destroy another supposedly time machine. Oh, okay, that's something that can happen as well. I have no idea why that graphical glitch happens. This level is weird because I just equipped the hazmat suit that has a 30-second cooldown to it. Okay. And if you don't rush, like, you will not be able to use the hazmat suit properly, and I just don't know what happened really with this level. Like, they didn't really think about using the hazmat suit, because usually with these kind of items you can just equip them or unequip them, but the hazmat suit is not one of those that you could just equip or unequip. We are now in the sewers, and this is where another interesting bit of the... Okay, I'm gonna reload that because... yeah, that's too little HP. So there are some weird stuff to the game. So there is a weapon that you really like would only get like 3 levels later if you don't go into that right pipe. If you miss that right hand pipe, you will just not get the weapon and you will be struggling when playing casually, which is a really odd design choice. So apart from the game being dark and kind of unforgiving, that is also something that is mentioned. Like in the future you just run out of ammo because all of your ammo just got taken away. So this is a funny one because apparently there should be a glass window in there, but you can just jump through it and you can do an alternate route, which involves me taking this key like this instead of from a secret area and going back up and going for another key. But there are these like mech there are, you know what it resembles really, like from Robocop, those like bots. So the game just has a bit of a resemblance from everywhere regarding stuff. We're back in this section again, and we need to take that elevator yet again. This is also a common theme for this game, that you just like loop around levels for keys. Basically, like only keys that you need to do this for, and that's what's blocking you from progressing with the game. Wait, does this go? Oh yeah, I want to show something. So if you run into this door and crouch, you can just fall out of bounds if you are not careful. Like that can happen to any door going downwards, but there are not really that many doors going downwards. And another fun one, we're gonna take this elevator, and instead of jumping onto it, we are just gonna let it pass through ourselves. So it just picks us up for the ride. So yeah, so far no shots from my end in the future. Like the weird thing is that like these mechs take a lot of time to like start shooting, so you can just run past them despite them damaging a lot. Like most of the enemies have a bit of a like waking period when you can just run past them and you will face no consequences. There is also this giant robot in here that is not operational, which has no like meaning in the story, honestly. It just is. But that's also a common theme for this game. We're gonna jump like this and hopefully not die. Okay, let's... So most of the levels really are vertical because, as you saw, that was like a free story a section, and with the jetpack you could just go through the whole game pretty easily. Like most of the levels are built really vertically. And fun fact, there is a jetpack in the game, but you only get it on the last level of the game, which makes absolutely no sense. Gundam? I don't like. There is no really like sign of a Gundam or anything in the story. There is no mention as to why that is there at all. So yeah, as you see, I just go past it really easily. So yeah, as I said, the whole Mortyr series is really weird because it was mostly an FPS series, but then there was Hands of Time, which was a 2D RPG shooter, and also the story just got really messed up after the acquisition by City Interactive, because like naming and storylines just didn't make much sense after that. And there is also a translating error in Mortyr 3, which makes also there is a dog in the future for some reason. This is the only dog in the future, and I don't know why it's here. It just is. So they really like gave up with the naming scheme because like our protagonist Jürgen's dad is called Sebastian, and so far so good. Like naming is alright, but then they introduced John Mortyr, like a really generic name, starting from Mortyr 3 and also in Mortyr 4, which I just I can't let that pass through. Like it's such a low ball that you can't really even name your characters anymore in a series. And also the Hungarian translation issue. So basically, in Mortyr 3 there is a part for some reason where they mistranslated the story and they killed the character, which didn't die. Like, it was really interesting because you read that said character died, but then like 2 levels later she was in a cutscene, and it's like it is kind of inexcusable. So now we are just looting up for the final boss fight, really. The final bosses are not gonna be these mechs, but rather... Okay, we had our only crash, I guess. So this was the last possible crash spot that the game could have crashed. Alright. The mandatory crash is gone now. You mean Battle Strike, yes. Funny thing, there is a golden key just sitting around like that, and you can just skip to the end of the level if you jump up on this window, skip the glass because there is no glass in there, and you can go straight to the exit. But there's one funny thing: if you press the switch and leave the aircraft go up, the switch is still here, and you can call the aircraft back down, and you can just go back up again. And this is how you finish the level. And we are at the last level already. We need to go past this. And we're gonna have fun with a new gun, which is called the Gehenna. It just really spews out bullets. And this is where we'll get the jetpack as well. So this is the Gehenna, this is the big gun. And because we picked up that golden key on the previous level that we didn't use up, we don't need to kill all 3 enemies, but only 2. That's a bit of a skip. That's the only thing you can use the jetpack for. Instead of calling the elevator, you can just jetpack down and cancel 4 damage like that. So these are the enemies, these like robot spiders. And you can kill it this easily. And yeah, that's also the whole game. Time is coming up really soon. After the next corner. And yeah, time. So we are placing a bomb onto this structure that we don't know what is, and we just run away. I'm telling you, the game story is just it's just not put together well enough. And funny thing, if you finish the game and try playing after it, the game just slows down and becomes basically unplayable. So you just need to restart the game. But anyways, that was Mortyr. I really hope you enjoyed it. And maybe if you want to give it a shot, it's not really a hard run to learn, really. And yeah, shoutouts to the Mortyr community and the Hungarian speedrunners community. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for having me, and I hope you'll have a blast with the rest of the marathon.